What up?
Hi.
Welcome to episode 13
Of
of
our
For the Parents podcast. I mean, you
yes.
usually do it, but I'm here
I don't mind.
because I have a
We got a
we
stream
actually set up our
deck.
stream deck. Do you know how long I've
Bum,
had this
bum,
thing? I actually looked in Amazon
bum.
today. I bought this in October of 2019 and just set it up like 2 weeks ago, which
Mm,
was May of 2020.
yeah.
One.
Yeah.
And now we got the cord to like run it all the way over here.
Yeah.
So today's episode is about stay-at-home parenting versus going to work parenting and the
But
difference
from
from
sort
both
of
perspectives. So
yes.
from me being the typically the one that goes out and is the away parent, and Sam's usually the stay-at-home parent, and the reverse of those roles, and when she works versus when I stay at home, and how we both feel about those roles. I will say, like, I want this to be as real and as raw as possible. Like, I don't want to hold anything back, and I'm in a way better place. But like, I just wanted to preface that the things that I might say are coming from a place of when I'm at like an 11 on like my red scale. And I want to be really real about that. And I don't want to. But the other thing I wanted to say about that was that I know that it's like my personal things that I'm going through, and like I'm trying to figure out why I get to that place in some of the times that I do. And I still haven't completely figured it out, so it's like definitely like a journey for me. Um yeah, I just wanted to preface that, and that like if things get heated, like I feel like it's kind of on me cuz you're in a really good place right now normally. Like so like I guess normally, but too. Anyways, that's all I want. I wanted to preface this with that.
I definitely got a taste of what it feels like to be the working parent. And it's so interesting.
Do
It's
you want to
such an
start with
interesting.
do you want to start with the things that you think are like that both of us think are like the better, like the positives
Let's
of
start
each,
with
or
you because
like
I feel like you have lots to
no,
say.
I'm
Like I
just saying
haven't been able to
like
get a
to
word in
like
edgewise, so just go,
no,
just
hold
go.
on, like because we don't really structure, like we don't really talk about the structure of the podcast. We like it to be really free flowing, but I
Right. So
just
I'm
wanted to.
saying you go first. I'm just
I'm
saying
not.
you
I
go
wasn't
first.
asking whether you wanted to go or I wanted to go. I'm saying, do you want to start with do we want to start with like the positives of each for both of us, like regardless of who goes first, like, and then talk about the negatives, or do you want to talk
Well,
about
I
the
just
negatives
feel
and the
like you
positive?
have like a flow that you want to get
No,
into,
I
so
don't.
go for it.
I don't. I don't. I just
Just
like.
do whatever feels best for you. I'm gonna go with your flow.
Okay, well then I'd like to hear what you have to say. I just wanted to know if you wanted to play off of like positives or if
Hear
you
what to
wanted to
say
do
about
everything.
what? Literally, like I haven't been able to get a word in
Okay,
edgewise.
we'll go.
So you seem really excited about this, so go. Start us off.
No, you go. I already started this off. I was just thinking of structure because that's how my brain works.
Well, it feels like you're already still.
I
Well,
don't
it
have a
feels
thing
like
that
you're
I want to
still
start
in
with.
a
That's why I was
place.
asking.
Well, so like we've been having me do a couple of working days because
Mm-hmm.
I really like to edit. I like that. I like behind the scenes almost as much as I like in front of the scenes work, and so we've been needing to have time to edit because at least when we first started the podcasts, our plan was to put them on Spotify and like all the major, you know, all the podcast places that we could, and also upload the full versions of this on YouTube's because like on stream on Twitch
With the videos, yeah.
it doesn't like stay forever, and so I have to edit a lot of things out, and if like especially the first couple of weeks there's like a lot of technical difficulties, and
That's
so
true.
it's just been a little bit like trying. Like I'm barely like halfway through episode 2 of our podcast and we're already on 13, and it's so I need time to do that for us, like for this for you guys, and so we've had to give me working days, which means he's stuck with the kids, but we haven't like cold turkey gone all 8 hours yet. We haven't cold turkey gone all 8 hours.
I don't even get
Today
8
we
hours
did
to work a
4
day
hours.
normally.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, today we did like 3.3, almost 4 hours, and I could tell you were very
Mm-hmm.
go for it.
Um, I don't. like I think it's too black and white to say like it's because of you working. I think that like we have been getting ready for like we have been getting like ready for like so basically our schedule has been off anyways, like the days that I work versus the days that we plan to work, like versus the days we had you plan to work, like it's just been all up in the air. And when I'm not being productive or I don't have the time to be the level of productive I feel like I need and want to be, like it's really really hard for me to just like go with the flow of like, oh, tomorrow's going to be different than it's ever been before. You know what I mean? Like that's really hard for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so just like I think that combined with Ollie having a very difficult day, like if like throughout the entire day, like very emotional. And it wasn't even like I really genuinely think there wasn't anything specifically wrong. Like he for like the first time in probably like I don't even remember the last time that he stayed up like that far past his bedtime because we had an employee event thing at my work. Um and he woke up later but only like 20 minutes later than he normally wakes up. And we had just changed their sleep schedule anyways like 3 days before that. It's like I think he was so deliriously exhausted that he was just lashing out all the time. And I hadn't really ever experienced that with him. And I was tired. I don't even know why. Like, I feel like even though they went to bed later, like we went to bed around the same time. Like I should have gotten about the same amount of sleep
Or more.
or a little bit more. Like, but I was exhausted and Ollie was just like pressing all the buttons, and I could probably handle that if Kai like wasn't a part of the equation, but he's our child, and he was just being his normal self. You know what I mean? Like,
He was.
which isn't a bad thing. He's just like very heavy and very like this is what I want right now. And he doesn't like to be away from you, like not you, us, like whoever is the person there that he wants to cling to. And so I was just finding all of that very, very difficult. And I was like, at like, that's probably the most mad that I've ever been. Like, just like not mad, but just like like mad, but more so red. Just like I was seeing red in everything, like just in everything. And I wasn't directing it at the children, but like I was directing all of it at Sam. And I was like, it doesn't matter if you did the most like sweet, innocent, caring, thoughtful thing. I would have found a way immediately to like put that back on you. You know what I mean? And I was just like, ooh, she's just fucking in there all smug, like fucking working on her computer editing shit like while I'm here. While I'm here. Like how fucking dare she? You know what I mean? Like I it would like she's not doing anything wrong. And it's oh my gosh, I have something in my eye. I think it's from the bubbles. Um but so I was just like all day I was struggling so hard with that. For 4 hours I was literally seething. Just seething inside. Just like smaug from whatever. Smaug. I don't know. I just feel like this like burning ember inside of me.
Yeah.
And it was just like
Yeah.
I'm not anymore. Like I don't feel like
A
right
little
now.
bit. You're just like on edge still, and it's fine. It's
Uh-huh.
not something
Well,
that
I'm
you
on
can just
edge,
let it
yeah, from the
go.
day. But like I don't feel those feelings. I'm just
No, no.
my like nervous system is probably
Yeah,
on edge.
shot.
I'm
Just
so sorry.
shot.
It's just like my eyes are just full.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so that was like, and I mean, for me, I feel like that gave, and like even when I was in that, I was like, I know that normally it's not that bad for Sam, but like sometimes it just is. Sometimes you just feel that way, and yeah,
Yeah, you
that
like
so I
I've
get it
texted you
a bit.
red
Yeah,
multiple times.
yeah, and it's like as the working parent, that's really hard because there's nothing you can do. It's not even your fault. Like there's nothing you can do, but you're gonna be the one that gets the like you're going to be the one that's the target because obviously a parent never wants to target their children,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's their children that are making them feel those things because they're just being children. Like they're not doing anything wrong. You know what I mean? Like they're learning about emotions and boundaries, and like that's what they're supposed to be doing. But as somebody who is like an emotional being, like that's hard. It's hard sometimes. Like it's not their fault that I was having a bad day, that I
Yeah.
was like exhausted,
Yeah.
that I feel the way I do about work. And like that's why I was like this the whole time I was like, what can I do to feel better? Like what can I actually do to feel better? Like why am I feeling this way? Like I know I'm tired, but that's not an excuse. Like we've been tired before. We've been way more tired before. Like and like I think so far I don't know if this is the complete answer, but like for me, I love my work, and I have felt for years that I haven't gotten enough time to do it. Before kids, it was my own fault. After kids, it's just the way that parenting goes. And so when you're taking my time, like I'm not saying it's like my time, I'm saying like in my mind when I'm at that place. It's like when you're taking my time when I already don't get enough, even though you're doing something that's important to both of us that I agree is important, like that's really really hard for me. Like really really hard for me because I love what I do, and it feels like I've been like neglecting my work children for years. Like the projects that should have been done already. That and a part of that is guilt on myself, right? Like about how I feel about like how incompetent or lazy or like whatever I've been in the past. Like and a part of that is like, well, now I'm not those things and I can't do fucking anything about it right in this moment. You know what I mean? And so it's like I feel like that is the thing that like even if I get past all the other emotions, that for me is really hard to let go. If I was just working a 9 to 5 job that I needed to pay the bills and you're like, I'll work part-time at a different job and we'll split that responsibility, I would be like, yes, yes, please. Like if I didn't have the drive and motivation and desire to do the things I want to do in work, like if I didn't love my work, like it would be way different because it'd be like I even now when I'm at work, I miss the kids, and like it's like every moment I'm not with them is hard, and then every moment I'm with them is hard because of the like partially because of the work that I chose and how I feel about it. But if I didn't feel that way about work, it would be infinitely easier for me to just like be home and be like, thank God that you're working. You know what I
I have
mean?
to go get. I have to go get Kai real quick. I'll be right back.
Like that's just that's where I am and like what I discovered about what I was feeling. And we weren't even doing anything like wrong. Like not sorry, wrong is not the right word. We weren't even like Ollie, even though he was like an emotional wreck today, like it's not like we didn't have fun. It's not like we weren't doing things that were enjoyable. I wasn't just like making him sit there like do nothing. Like we had a great lunch, and we got like these sidewalk chalk markers, and we were like doing Happy Mother's Day stuff, um, and like just painting like cool spring things uh, out and about. And so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's hard being. It's definitely harder being the stay-at-home parent if you're somebody that loves what you do or is like trying to change and like do something better, and you need extra time to like get a new project off the ground, or like if you're even if you don't like absolutely love your job, I can imagine a reality where like if you're like in a position where there's like any change or stuff adding to your job, where like you're demanded to work more, like and you just have less time overall, like that also as a working parent is really hard.
Yeah, I could tell that you were very upset um multiple times. And then one time you came in an hour before like my scheduled time to end. You're like, are you almost done?" And I was like, "No." And you're like, "I only got so and so many hours this morning." And I said, "Yeah, but you're about to leave for 2 whole hours." So, and you were like, "Right." And then when you left, I heard you hit something. I
Yeah, I
don't know
hit the
what
wall.
you hit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I made sure I hit it at like the corner of the drywall so it didn't like break the wall.
because he's done that before.
Yeah, not at our
Um,
house, but
Well, sort of at our house, at the other house.
oh,
Did you?
well, yeah, not here though.
No, not
I
here.
would
But
never
the other
do
one
that
was
to our
also
beautiful
our
walls.
house too. Yeah, and like, yeah, dudes, it takes more than what you went through today now
Hmm.
to get me out of red. But that's how it starts for sure. And I just
Yeah,
want
it
to say,
wasn't
like,
always like that for you. Like you've just done it enough to become a veteran
that's
at
what I
it.
said. That's
Yeah.
what literally what
Well,
I
yeah,
just
but
said.
in less
Like, it
words, and I
takes,
didn't know
no,
if
I
like
said it takes
contextually they
more
understood that.
of
Yeah.
that to make me out of red now.
Yeah.
At first, obviously, yeah. And
Hmm.
also, like, what you're feeling, like the feelings that you felt that were making you so mad about work,
Hmm.
that's literally the feeling that I've had to live with and deal with and really work out since I became pregnant with Ollie, because I was like, when we started trying for Ollie, I
Hmm.
had finally barely graduated with my associates. And I said, I got my degree, well, sort of a degree,
Hmm.
and I'm going to take this full next year to just work on acting. I'm going to go to as many auditions as I can, all of them that show up, I'm going to go to.
Hmm.
I have an agent, well, I had an agency in Seattle, um, and I was so ready, and we got pregnant. A lot of people struggle with pregnancy, and if that's you, I'm really sorry. It's so hard.
Hmm.
I can't even imagine. And for us, it was the opposite. Like, we literally had just barely tried. Literally, it was like our second month trying, and bam. And um it was downhill from there for me. Everything just dead stopped.
Hmm.
I uh was so sick. I was so sick. I could barely move. Um, and the
Yeah,
doctors
for
were
nine
like,
months. Hmm.
my doctors then, or I had midwives then, and they were just like, very not helpful. Nobody was helpful. Well, maybe it'll go away in like a couple of weeks. And I would be like, I just got to hold out for a couple of weeks. And it never happened. And like, literally, those feelings that you're feeling,
Hmm.
I had to go through cold, like just cold turkey, like from the minute that I found out I was pregnant. Like, my personal own aspirations, my work, the things that I wanted to do
Yeah.
were completely set aside forever. And well, indefinitely, until Kai's old enough now,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the grace of whatever is good in this world, I was able to still finish my bachelor's in between, when, like, so Ollie was born in May and I started up full-time school in September, and I went all the full time except for one semester. I went full time until literally Kai was born.
Hmm.
Literally in the hospital, I was finishing my homework assignments for my very last class.
Yeah.
Um, which is another long story that I
Hmm.
don't, maybe one day I'll share it. I mean, it's just not relevant, but
Hmm.
I mean, not that I don't care to share it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just not relevant. And so, like, that was so hard to do. Um, it was so hard to do.
Well, that's
And we
probably why
had
you
like
fell into
so
a
much,
depression.
yeah. And we had help. Thank goodness we had help. Otherwise we would have failed miserably. We would have
Hmm.
we would have just, I don't know how we would have survived.
Yeah.
And so those feelings that you went through today, like, they made me feel a little emotional, because like literally that's exactly like what I had to go through, what I went through every day until I
Hmm.
found a way to like let go of expectations about that, and let go of like things. And so it's hard for me a little bit to be the stay-at-home parent, because you get to go to work,
Hmm.
but I don't get to go to work. I don't get to do things that I want to do because I'm the stay-at-home parent, and that's really hard for me. And so you're like, it's so hard to be the working parent, and I'm like,
I'm
I know,
not saying it's harder. It's hard from both
I'm not
sides.
saying it's not, but it's like,
Hmm.
and then you complain all the time. Well, not so much anymore, but still, like, I know you, and I
Hmm.
know it stresses you out when you don't feel like you get enough time to do your work. And I'm like, I don't get any time. I don't get any time to do my work. And you're like complaining about all the time that you get. Like, I feel like I bend over backwards to give you as much time as you need. And I just feel like I mean, it's better, but I do feel like for you, especially being like an entrepreneur and like have like it's so hard for you to have a boundary like for your home life and your work life, and
Hmm.
you always like tend to you have in the past at least tended to like just blur that line incredibly and bring your work home and I
Hmm.
like and like that can't like
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? It's like for you, you're like, I've I've always been not. That's not like the problem. It's like one of the things that makes this a challenge. I have always, and it's how I was raised. It's how I grew up. It's how I like to be. Like, and I've seen your side, and I like want that like more now than I did. But like, I've always been independent. Like, I've always been the one that's like, I need my alone time. Like, I need it. Like, it's not a desire. Like, for me to be like happy on this earth, for me to feel like there's a reason to be here, like, I need my time. Like, and you've always been like, time is nice, but like, I just love being around other people. And like, we've kind of like both come towards each other in that. But like, I I could not imagine now not being a parent. But like, if we had to judge on a scale of like who wanted kids more, I was probably like
the least. Yeah, I know.
50%
I
and you were
know.
like 100%. And I
I
was
know.
like I want to have a family with you if that's what you want. But like, I could have also seen a beautiful life where we didn't have children. And like, obviously now it's like, why would I even imagine that? Like, I could not imagine waking up tomorrow without our sons. Like, it would be heartbreaking. They're everything. Like, they're everything, and they like give me a reason to live. Besides like my like freedom and like desire for exploration and creativity. But I feel like that's for you. That's like you can compartmentalize that as a piece of who you are, but like it's like in every fiber of my being. And so when I'm like, I don't have enough time to work, so when they go to sleep, I'm gonna work. Like, and you would be like, yeah, but what about family? And I'm like it's just hard for me. It's like I'm trying to scrape every single minute that I can to like keep my sanity in that way. And I think I know it's important for you. So I'm like I know it's important to you too, because I can see that. Like, I can see that very distinctly now, that it's like for you, you're like, I want to be an actor. I want to be like, that's what I want to do. Like, and now I can't do that. And so you had to take that, and you had to like bottle it up and shove it down, and you're still doing that. And I think that this and editing and doing other things is really helping you come out of that shell a bit, because it like you're doing also things that surround the stuff you love, like being around others, like like being on camera, like using like your creative ability. But like, I'm not there, I guess there isn't really a but to that. Like, that's really hard, and you've had to do that for years. And I just feel like, again, like 50%, 100% family wise, I would never be able to do that. If I fell into that depression, I I can't even like, I've never been able to actually think what would make somebody want to commit suicide. And that's the thing for me. Like, that's the thing. If I like, if you were gone, and if you died, and I had to be a stay-at-home parent and didn't have your parents' help or my parents' help, and I didn't have the money to have like for like childcare or like help, like every night I would go to bed thinking like, I can't kill myself because I have children, but I want to. Like, that's how I would feel. And it's like, I can't imagine how like I like, again, like I think for you, like you have a healthier balance with that part of yourself, and it's not perfect. Like, it's still hard for you, but I feel like for me, like it's
Well, I
in
have
every
a
fiber
healthier
of my
balance
being.
because I've been doing it for 3 year, four
No, but
years.
even before that, you had a healthier balance. Like, it was just like
Yeah. Okay.
you
Yeah.
lived for other things.
Yeah.
And for me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like that's it. Like, my creativity like is like how I connect with the universe. And if I don't have that, I don't feel connected to the universe at all. And if I don't, I'm just like what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I don't think that's healthy. And again, like I prefaced this episode with saying like that's my problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you don't necessarily need to like cater to that fully, but like I'll tell you when I need help. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't keep that inside. You know what I mean? Like when I can recognize it. And
Mm-hmm.
um yeah. So I would say like for me, being a stay-at-home parent, and I think for most people, again, like again, if I didn't have that desire within me, I feel like being a stay-at-home parent would be the best job in the world. It wouldn't be easy, but like it would be the best job in the world if I didn't have that. And you have that too, and that's why it's hard for you too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but like I could imagine if I was just like an accountant, but like I didn't love accounting. I was just
Mm-hmm.
like an accountant because it was a good job to have, like a secure
Mm-hmm.
job. I'd be like, oh yes, please, like please work, so that I can
Yeah.
stay home because like I don't care about, like I clock off and like my life begins. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like, but that's not how I feel. And I think I do a pretty good job of not letting that affect the children. But I do, like, I think every day that I'm at home with them, there's at least a moment or two where I'm like, oh, like, I don't want them to see that side of me because I don't want that side of me to affect them. Like when I snap with anger, like I was not an angry person at all before we had kids. You know what I mean? Like even though, well, I was an angry person when I was depressed and like put that into video games as a way to like feel micro accomplishments instead of actually working on the things that like my like were inside me calling me to work on them. Like I like that's when my anger started. And I was like I conquered that, which is amazing. Like that's a huge feat.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's funneled into children, and I don't like I don't outburst at them, but they see me outburst. And like I just, it makes me feel like gross, like tainted, like like a like dark. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I like it's not like I always have to be happy for them, but like if I'm feeling something, like I wish that I could say, "Oh my gosh, Ollie, Papa is really frustrated right now, and it makes me want to do this, but because you know, like I don't know, I just wish that I handled those times better, like punching the wall today, like you know what I mean?
I've gotten that angry before. I don't punch a wall, but I like
Yeah, scream.
screamed at him, not at them, but just screamed into the like ceiling of frustration. Sometimes one time I was changing Ollie's diaper and Kai was like doing something. I can't remember. He wasn't crawling yet. He was on the playmat with us because I put him there and we were like there together. And all I changed Ollie's diaper and Kai was like ready for his bottle. He was ready to be fed and I was like I got to I can't remember, but like I know that I was like pressed, like I was
Mm-hmm.
rushing. And like Ollie, I was changing it. It was a poopy diaper. I was changing his diaper and he peed. And that was like, and it had been a rough morning, and that for me was like the the cherry on top. And I just was like, and they both just looked at me, and I was like, oh my gosh, goodness, why, baby? Why did you do that? What? You know, like I've definitely had my moments with them, and it does make
Mm-hmm.
me feel yucky. Like I never want to like because you don't want to show your kids like your dark sides. You want them to like
Mm-hmm.
love you and look at you as like beautiful people all the time, you know? And but
Yeah.
like I think, you know, that it's I think that it's okay that we show them that everybody gets angry and it's just how you handle it, which we have been doing, but still, I mean, it doesn't make those moments easier. And um yeah, I don't yeah, like and I just feel like I know that you've been battling with those things for a
Mm-hmm.
really long time, and you've come really far. You really have, and it just takes practice. It really just takes practice.
Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily want practice bottling up the way I feel.
No, not that, not that. I'm
Like
saying
about I th- oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I didn't mean like it takes practice to bottle up your feelings. No, like it takes practice to like not let those things get to you. Like it
Mm-hmm.
takes, excuse me, I've been a stay-at-home parent for like pretty much today 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's nuts.
Happy birthday, Ollie. um,
Yeah.
it's been hard sometimes for sure, and it's, there's never, what is a perfect parent? There is no perfect parent, none
Yeah.
whatsoever. Um,
Mm.
we're all just trying to
Yeah.
do our best to make sure that our kids are, you know, ready for the world.
Yeah.
Um, and what's more, like probably, hopefully, also like leave the world a better place
Mm-hmm.
for it. Like our kids just in general are legacies, and they
Mm-hmm.
are like, we used to anyway, because time, but we used to read a lot of spiritual books, and we went one time right before we broke up the first time. Well, the only time we've ever broken up, but we went to a Don Miguel
Which was the day we
Ruiz
broke up, actually.
seminar, and he said that he always wants to be the change that he sees in the world, but like, and obviously, like me too. Well, anybody, like we're not perfect, but um, more so than that, I feel like in my heart of hearts, I see the things that the way that we're teaching Ollie and Kai, and the way that we're
Mm-hmm.
um, raising them. They're the change that we want to see in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They're the change that we want to see in the world.
Yeah. Well, that's why it
Um,
makes me so upset or like sad when I get upset. Because I'm like, I see the way he reacts to things, and I'm like, is that me, or is that just like, do do 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds like react with anger even if you've never expressed it before, or is he developing more of that because of my actions?
I think it's 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 50. He definitely sees and learns from you and me,
Mm-hmm.
as does Kai. Um, and probably that's why Kai is so grumpy. Maybe a little bit. Like he is so like, if he wants to go a certain way and you don't let him, oh, he's only like 10 months old, and he's
Mm-hmm.
like so angry. He's an angry little man.
He's a grumpy old man.
Yeah, and he's very vocal about it, and I wonder too if maybe like I said, we were in survival mode when he was born, and there was a lot of like moments of frustration, especially like, well, for both of us, there were moments
Mm-hmm.
of frustration, and he learned that probably, and that's like yucky to know and to think about. But I mean, we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect, and yeah, Jesse, like I just feel like exactly like how you said it, like that's something that I've had to deal with every single day. And obviously, like, yeah, I did want to be a parent, but nobody, I don't feel like there's a lot of preparation for everything that would entail. I was not fully prepared to be a stay-at-home mom, and all of the feelings that came with it, all of the things that just internally you go through as a stay-at-home parent. I wasn't prepared for that, and it was
Mm-hmm.
so hard. And you're just getting like a glimpse. That's just like your tiny little glimpse of what I've like lived with for
Yeah.
4 years.
Well, and it's crazy because I 3. Well, you 4 because of your pregnancy, because of the pregnancy. Like I guess that's the thing. Like if I felt as physically bad as you did, like my creativity wouldn't have meant anything to me at that point. Like
Yeah, for the
you know what I mean?
pregnancy, but
Yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
like,
But so like I was thinking, it's not just that though. It was like that plus like you had such a long recovery.
yeah,
And then like by the time you recovered, you're already in parent mode. I was just thinking like with those things aside, I wouldn't have been able to. I would have been like, I don't care how much more I have to work. Like, I would have had to like get childcare or help. Like, I would have had to, like, for my own sanity. Which to me, like, thinking about that part of myself is really sad, because that's even more time missed out with the kids. You know what I mean? Like, and like being a part of their development in their world.
And like they notice that too.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, like
inadvertently
what's
when you become the working parent, like when you're the working parent, you're also sort of the absent parent.
yeah. Well, that's the hardest thing. Like, that's the hardest part, I think, of being like, if I had to, like, in summation, say what is the hardest part of each role, like being the stay-at-home parent, there's two things that stand out to me as being the hardest. One is that you're always on. I might have to go for Ollie. Like, you are always having to, like, right now. You tell me, you tell them what you feel like are the hardest parts, and then I'll come back without knowing and tell you.
The hardest parts I think of being the stay-at-home parent, it just really depends. And I haven't met anybody yet. Well, that's not true. Well, no, it is true. I haven't really met anybody that since they were little who like their dream sort of like what they wanted to do was be a stay-at-home parent. I don't know anybody who that like a stay-at-home wife or partner or whatever. Like I've never met anybody who that's what they wanted to do. And I definitely want I in my family, in my very Hispanic family, I was sort of the oddball out in the sense that like I wanted to be independent from a very early age, and my parents were always like focus on school, and I was like I kind of want to get a job because if I want to go to the movies or if I want to buy myself a whatever I want to buy myself, I want to go to if I want to go eat somewhere with some friends, I don't have to ask you for money. Like I can just pay for it myself. And my parents were very like, no, you need to focus on your school. And they actually, I remember the first job I got was like at Burger King on base in Alaska. And my parents made me quit um, after the summer because I had to focus on school. And I just kept going back to work every like chance I got. I would like get another job, and they would just be like, okay, well now you have to quit and go back to school. And so like, I was always very, very, very independent, and it took a lot for me to be comfortable being dependent and not like having a job, not having me bring in like I felt like I wasn't bringing anything to the table in our relationship, and it was just really 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 hard. And being like the stay-at-home parent, I know that that's a job in and of itself. I just never thought that it would be my only job even in the early years. And like as kids get older, you can have jobs. Like obviously when your kids are like older, a lot of people choose to go back to work and everything. And perhaps I will. I'm sure I will. I still want to get my master's in psychology. I want to be a therapist or maybe even a psychologist. Who knows? I maybe I don't want to work for a doctorate. I don't know, but I definitely want to get my master's. And so I definitely want to work as a therapist, and so I know that I want to go back at some point into the world. But I just never thought that like I don't know why, but I just never thought that like I would be the like a domestic stay-at-home parent, especially when I was pregnant with when after I recovered with Ollie. It was kind of easy to get into a routine of things. I almost always had like dinner sort of ready. Jesse has very like special dietary needs, and so that always has made it a little bit hard. But I've like over the years, like we've gotten it down pat almost, and and I think that like when I was pregnant with Kai, it all sort of started to crumble a little bit because I couldn't cook. Jesse's the one who cooked, and I haven't really been able to get back in the swing of things. Like it's so hard. And at first, I was like, Jesse will cook when he gets home. He'll make us all dinner. But like, if you think about it, as the reason that the stay-at-home parent is the one who like has dinner waiting is because why would you want to sacrifice that precious bonding time between the working parent and the children? So I have tried to have food ready like when he gets home, because I don't want them, like, I don't want him to get home and all he's like, play with me. And Kai probably too. And then he's like, I have to cook. And it's like, I can just cook. It'll be fine. So that, like, it's just hard. It's hard being dependent. It's hard because it, even though I know that, like, raising the children and being with them and, like, playing with them is their development, is their, what they're supposed to be doing. It's how they develop. It just feels like I get nothing done. And what's more is, like, even the things that I get done are just like, I get happy when I get fucking laundry done. Oh, I got all the laundry done. Like, yay me. Hey, did you come home to, like, a clean kitchen? I did that. That's my achievement. And it's like, that's my achievement. That's my achievement. And it seems so, it's depressing. I think it's depressing.
Yeah.
And, like, even then, that's not even an everyday occurrence. That's not even an everyday occurrence. I had a pair, and I'm sure a lot of you have as well, but, like, I had a laundry that I put in yesterday in the afternoon. I was like, I'll put it in the dryer really soon. Completely forgot until, like, later in the evening. And by that time I was like, well, leave it till tomorrow and wash it with vinegar so that it doesn't smell mildewy. And some of it probably still does after I put it in the washer, in the dryer. And I'm probably going to have to rewash that whole freaking load of laundry again with baking soda. And then, like, I'll do a vinegar wash and then focus. But you know what I mean? Like, even then, sometimes nothing gets done. And it's just like, it feels like the most unproductive thing in the world. And okay, well, just focus on your kids, but, like, we need to eat. And it feels so unsanitary to cook in an unclean kitchen. Like, you know what I'm saying? So then the kitchen has to get cleaned. Well, that's time that you're taking away from the kids as they're screaming at you because they want you. And of course, they obviously is their right, like, as they should be. But so it's really hard. That's like, so hard.
Yeah. Not knowing what you said about, did you say it for both roles?
No, I just said it for stay at home.
Well, go ahead. For what do you feel like the hardest parts for you?
So I've only, like, had a couple of, like, very few minor, like I said, we've, like, the most we've done is, like, 4 hours. And, like, today he was very upset. And I kind of got a glimpse of that because as the working parent, I will be honest and say that I was like, you handle that. I'm out. You handle that. I'm good. But it was really hard when you were upset. It was just like, well, like, but I have to do this. Like, I have to be working.
Yeah, it's really hard to work when you know the other person's
okay,
pissed.
am I telling my
No,
side?
I wasn't. Sorry, that came out way too like condescending.
Aggressive.
I didn't mean it. I literally meant it as like a
Yeah, so it was like an epiphany for me. I was just like, huh. And to be fair, I try, like, ever since we developed our color coding system, I don't try to burden you with where I'm at until you're on your way home so that you can have as productive a day as you can.
But think about this. Think about recently, especially this work week, where it hasn't been a normal work week. The days are all shifted around. The times are all shifted around. How many times do you walkie-talkie me? Do you send me stuff from Ollie? Do you FaceTime me with Ollie? Like, imagine how hard it is to get shit done when, like, every time you hang up, right at the end of the hang up, you hear a screaming child because you're hanging up with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, then don't tell Ollie. You walk yourself into that mess because every time you leave for work, you're like, but buddy, you can FaceTime me if you want. So he remembers that. And he tells me all the time, he's like, let's call daddy. What am I supposed to say? Nope. Even though he said you can call him. Nope. I'm not saying that that's not, like, what is, like, the healthiest thing to happen. Like, because obviously that, like, I feel like that's a solution for lessening your burden, lessening how difficult it's been on him lately. And like it makes me also feel like like limits the difficulty, like, not the difficult, but one of the hardest parts of being for me, a working parent is, like, you're missing out on all of those moments with them. Like, you're just absent, like, in their mind, like, you're a void to them for that period of time, however long that period of time is. I think I have to go for Kai.
Yeah. So I like. So I was just saying that, like, but I just think about how much less productive that is. You know, like, it's hard. Like, I get maybe 30 hours a week, total of like commute and work time, I have two operating businesses, like businesses that are fully operational, and then like 5 or 6 side projects that are like they need work to be off the ground. Like it's really hard to get anything done with like an average of 4 hours a day, right? Like over that period of time. I don't know. I don't know. It's just really hard. So, but I feel like the hardest thing. So for me, like on my side, as a working parent, the most difficult part of that is just knowing that you are not like a part of their life for that period of time, and they don't understand why you're not there. Like even if sometimes like you can like logically comprehend it, like they don't care that you're working to like give them things and keep the house and like feed them food, and you know what I mean, like they don't care, like they don't like they like those things, but when it comes down to like in their mind, like the instant gratification of like I need my parent now, like I want them here, I want to play with them, I want to be with them, like I just want to have fun and be happy, like always comes first. And so like to not be able to at least at this age like have them understand that is so like so gut wrenching. Like every single day that I leave, I walk down the stairs to a screaming child after already setting multiple timers to like stay here longer, to like try to make him feel like okay, like let me give you some playtime so you don't feel like I just like woke up, got you ready, made breakfast, and like did all these like task things while you were doing your own thing. And so like leaving every day for work that I leave for work, like knowing that at some point he's probably okay, but like they still process that. They still have to like synthesize that. Um they still have to like figure out what they're feeling and then put a logic to it. Like you know what I mean? Like that's like as kids, like that's what we're doing. We're like, I feel something. Like, oh, why did that have to happen? Like, why did daddy have to go? Like in my scope of what I know as a child, like how can I pin that to something that makes sense in my brain? Like and you like as the parent that leaves while the other parent is managing like a like a really really needy toddler, you know what I mean? Like how do you balance that? Like how do you actually make sure that what's in their mind relating to you as a working parent is something that's positive and like at least neutral? Like you probably don't. Like it's probably a negative thing in their life. Who knows how negative? I don't know what that does to them in the long term, or like how that affects them and your relationship with them as the working parent. But like it might seem like well, I like really that's the biggest negative. Like you don't get to spend time with them, and like you know that you're not a part of their life and their development, and in fact are like probably in some way negatively contributing to that. Like if they had both parents home all the time and had that focus, like they would probably develop better, like more well-rounded, more balanced, more like everything, as long as like parenting wise, like they also learned how to be independent and like emotionally like their own person. But being the stay-at-home parent, like I feel like the hardest parts of being a stay-at-home parent, like I was trying to say before Ollie woke up, was like just always being on and knowing that no matter what, like you have to be present. Like you just have to be. Um like you can't just zone out and have them do their own thing, because they will more than likely get into something they're not supposed to that can kill or harm them. Even if you have everything perfectly childproofed, like at that age, like they can move a chair wherever they want to. You know what I mean? Like if you're not paying attention and they figure that out, which opens up all the doors that you don't need or want them to open, like getting to something on the counter, or like finding the key, or like the magnet that opens the doors to get to stuff that they're not supposed to get to, like all that stuff. Or like going headfirst over the railing of a 2-story stairs. Like that could happen. Also, if you're zoned out, like you're not actively participating in their development, so they're not like they're still gonna grow and learn, but like you're not really a part of who they're being. So, anyways, like that's like the first thing, and the second thing that like after talking this out is like really really clear to me. For most people, the biggest and hardest part about being a stay-at-home parent has to be that you have to give up a piece of who you are, probably a very large piece of who you are, to be that stay-at-home parent. Like to wear that hat and to have that role, unlike almost any other role in life for any other thing, requires you to like kill and drown and suppress other roles in your life. Like it just does. Like if you're in a relationship with somebody else, you like have things that you do for that relationship and you're together, and like that's something that you have to work on too, but like you're not responsible for that person as a human, like they are. So like it doesn't force you to like give up work if you don't want to. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Um that has to be the hardest. And I like obviously I think like I said earlier in this podcast, like maybe that's harder for me. Like maybe that's just one of my bigger issues and challenges mentally in life that I have to deal with. But like I'm sorry for anyone else who feels any at all how Sam and I feel about like just having to suppress that. Like you there's nothing you can do about it. Maybe there is, but those things also require you to give up things that you're not willing to. That's really difficult. And yeah, I don't know. What do you think? What do you guys think about the difference in difficulty between like that major thing of like this changes who I am because I can no longer be this thing. Um like I am like it's taken that like away from me until they're old enough, and then you have to like rediscover who you are at that point, versus like I don't get to be a part of this child's development every hour or every day or however long I'm at work. Like I'm just not there. And how is that affecting their mental health and their development? So like which one of those things do you think is harder? Like the more difficult? For me personally, I would say that being a stay-at-home parent is far harder on like a personal level. Um I don't know which one's harder. Like obviously the working parent is harder on the child, um, which might like as for the ecosystem of a family make things harder. Yeah, it's just yeah, very very difficult in general to manage. Sam should be back in a minute, and that would probably be the end of our podcast. We are going to conclude early to try to get some other parenting stuff done. Yeah, is there anything you want to say like in conclusion about this topic?
I just feel like it's gonna be really interesting, like moving forward with like what we both learn
Yeah.
about both of the roles, working parent slash also stay at home parent, because I definitely have gotten a little taste of doing things that aren't stay at home parent related, and it like, like specifically like on hand stay at home parenting, and I love it. I love it. It would be really hard to take that time away from me. Like I'll grasp it. You'll have to pry it out of my hands.
Yeah. No, I get that. I will say you haven't experienced one of we might do like an update once if you go out and like work not at home, because I think that's one of the things you haven't experienced is really realizing like wow, like how much that might affect their development. Like and how for that period of time, like, you're literally not a part of their life and you can't get that back. You know what I mean? Like, when you're here, if you really, really want to, you can come out and be like, I'm here. How are you doing? Like, let me just take a few minutes. Like, you know what I mean? And you haven't, I'll probably also because you haven't had that many days, but like, you
I
can
mean, for
hear
4 hours,
them.
I'm not going to leave the house,
Yeah, I know.
you know?
Well, that might not be our schedule forever.
No,
We
no,
have a
no. I know.
really
I'm just
weird
saying,
schedule right now.
I've
Yeah.
only maximum gotten 4
But if you
hours.
think about
So,
it, like if I come home like starting at like 3, like that's only when I'm wrapping up and like running errands and like commuting for you guys, and like I commute, like I get to work maybe at like 9. Like that's not that many more hours than 3, than 4.
yeah. Yeah.
10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 6.
Sorry.
6. Sorry, yeah. Anyways, that I think maybe it would be good to do a part 2, like
Yeah.
updated
Like
once
an
we get
update.
further.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty confident that like we're at the start of this new ability and phase for both of us to do this. And like I think it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes. But I'm confident that like we can find a system that for the most part works, other than weird weeks like travel and transition and things where shit
Yeah.
just
Well,
like goes to
I was saying
chaos.
that like we had to, because especially
Yeah.
like if I plan on, going back
Yeah.
to school and getting my master's, the kids are on you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, maybe Ollie will be
Yeah.
going to like daycare or whatever. We're gonna homeschool, but like the kids will be on you
Yeah.
that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep,
Like because you're the entrepreneur, like you're your own boss. Your schedule is a lot more flexible than what I imagine. Like a school program schedule would be like, these are my classes. That's them. Like there's no like, oh, I'm gonna make that class. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, now with how
Well, but like
digital.
I know that for therapy there are certain things that have to be like at.
Well, yeah, and I mean, most classes have like you have to attend these class blocks, even if it's online. Like this is the time where you have to be there and participate
Yeah.
and all that. But yeah,
Yeah. So
but yeah,
we'll update you guys.
we'll update
Thanks
you
for joining us for our 13th episode. 13 is my absolute favorite number, also because I was born on the 13th of December, and I love it. So
Thanks for having that hard conversation with us.
yes, it was a hard.
Love you guys.
Love
And
you.
you.
Bye. I love you too.
Talk to you later.
Yes.
Not you, but I'm looking at you.
Okay. Bye.